Hi there, this is Linda and welcome to my channel. Today is finally the day to dive in and set up my 2026 planner and journal lineup. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I want to start this video by saying this is my second video sharing my 2026 planner and journal lineup. I shared a previous video where I talked through kind of my thought process behind my 2026 journal and planner lineup and shared putting this spread together, which kind of was my planning process. I will link that one in the description box below if you want to go check out that video first, and then you can pop back over and watch this one. In this video, I finally now have all of my journals and planners with me. I set this one up, I want to say this was probably back in August when I had first started accumulating some of my journals and really thinking about my plan. But as you can see from this spread here, I didn't have everything planned out and I didn't have everything yet. So I am super excited because the last book for my lineup just arrived, and so I'm ready to really dive in and set everything up. You can also see from this intro that some of these are already set up, and that's because of the timing of the video of the journals arriving and me wanting to get this video up and also just being excited about setting up my journals and planners. I started filming portions of this video earlier. So you will see as I set each book up that some of the videos might be out of order. Some of the, my shirt will change and stuff because they were filmed on different days. And that's just because setting up this lineup is something that takes a lot of time and something I like to start well in advance of 2026 or of the new year so that I can start that year feeling ready to go. So with all of that said, let's start talking about my actual lineup. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact, just a disclaimer, that I have a lot of books, journals, planners, everything in my lineup, and that might seem overwhelming or excessive, but for me, I am someone who needs things to be very categorized. So I am not someone where an all-in-one journal planner works for me. I need like separate books for separate purposes. And so I do have a lot of books because my brain is so compartmentalized, and I understand that doesn't work for everyone, but that is really kind of what works best for me. I also am someone who does spend a lot of time in my journals and planners. They really help me stay focused, stay motivated, work through mental health challenges, just everything. So having a lot of them is something that is great for me. I know that that does not work for everyone. I also want to just kind of say that I have also been a journaler and planner for a long time. So if you are just starting out, I wouldn't necessarily recommend starting with all of the books. Just, try a little bit here and there. This is a system that is definitely different from previous years, but something that I have kind of honed over time. Also, I don't use all of these journals every day. Some of them I do use pretty much every day or most days, but other ones I use very sporadically, and I will talk about that as I get to them. I guess the last thing I want to mention before we dive into specific journals is that I will put the timestamps in this video so that you can jump around and just watch the specific journals or planners that you are interested in. So without anything else to say, let's go ahead and jump in.
Okay, so one of my favorite parts of setting up a new lineup is sticker bombing the covers. And I don't know, I love this so much. This is kind of the time where all of those hoarded stickers get used because I'm going to be looking at this for a full year. So I don't feel like anything is too precious to use. I purchased the 2026 stickers that have like the year on them from the Coffee Monster Co. And then I have a variety of stickers from all sorts of places that I've collected throughout the years. And whenever I see a sticker that I absolutely love, I put it away to have for potentially sticker bombing a cover in the future. For the stickers on my covers that I end up using, the majority of them are from either the Coffee Monster Co. or from Brandy Kincaid. Some of them are just from other random places, though. If there's a specific one that you're interested, drop it in the comments and I will try to let you know where I got it from. However, most of these stickers are not really things that are continuously stocked in shops, so I just kind of pick them up as I go. So I started with my daily journal with the sticker bombing of the cover, and you can kind of see how that comes together. And then I will talk you through a little bit more about why I picked this journal and how I'm using it.
Okay, so let's talk about my 2026 daily journal. I feel like this might be the one I'm most excited about. So if you don't know, in 2023, I started keeping a daily journal and I used exclusively Hobonichi. Well, not exclusively, I tried Hemlock and Oak for a short period of time, but then I fell in love with the Tomoe River paper and switched over to Hobonichi. I tried a Hobonichi A6 and that was kind of a fail. And then I was in the Hobonichi Cousin for all of 2023, but it was kind of like a mix of planning, journaling before I found my way. 2024 was my first year in a full Hobonichi Cousin front January 1st to December 31st journaling every day. I obviously missed some days, but I back journaled and I have pretty much a full completed Cousin. Then for 2025, I split into the two-book system in the Avex, which I was super thrilled with. So it's still the same as the Hobonichi Cousin, but 2 books. So here's my one for the second half of 2025. And at the time I'm filming this, the year's not over, but you can see it didn't chunk up quite as much because I only have 6 months in here, but I do add a lot of like stuff. There's a lot of chunkiness, and I plan to continue that in 2026. So the big change I wanted when figuring out what I wanted for my journal in 2026 was I wanted no weeklies. And I know the original Hobonichi has that, but I also have learned I don't work in anything smaller than an A5. Anything smaller, and I can't get into it. I can for the planning. That's why I have like the week size, because this is just planning and on the go, and I don't care about it being super pretty. But for anything else, I need A5 or bigger. Probably just A5, honestly. So I was looking for something that did not have weeklies because I don't need them. I do all of my functional planning and weekly memory keeping in my Take a Note. I found a system that works really well for me. If you're interested to learn more about that, I do have a lot of videos walking through my 2025 Take a Note. I am going to share some in this video as I set it up, but if you want to see how some of those spreads come out, I would recommend checking out those videos. So I wanted to get away from that, and I found this planner from Sterling Ink. So I also was wanting to move away from Hobonichi because, again, just like the other ones, I don't like the quotes at the bottom. I don't like all the colors. My paper was good in my my cousin Avec for 2025, but I had issues with some of the other planners, and I kind of wanted to move away from Hobonichi as much as possible. You'll see I have one thing in my lineup this year from Hobonichi, and that's it. But so Sterling Ink came in. I had tried a Sterling Ink in 2024 or I think it was 24 for functional planning, and it didn't work for me, mostly because I went with the B5, I think. No, B6. So it's the one that's like halfway between an A5 and A6. So like smaller. And like I said, I just can't go smaller than A5. So I did like Sterling Ink. And so I decided that I would give this one a shot because they had this daily planner. And this is kind of, so again, it lays flat, which I love. And it has page numbers, which I love. And it's got just a page per day. And it has at the front, let's go to the front, it's got some annual sections. So we've got some blank pages here. We've got these annual trackers. I've got stuff in here to set up. We've got monthlies. And then from monthlies, you move straight into the dailies. So my plan for this is to be just my journal. And what I'm gonna do is I am going to, so I have these two spreads out front here, and I'm going to use one for annual goals, because even though it's my journal, I've decided I want to put my goals in my journal because that's really kind of personal growth type thing. And then I'm going to do an annual vision board like I usually do. And then I have, these are the trackers here. I'm going to set these ones up with these date strips here. And that way I can use this. I'm going to use this for some memory keeping of just kind of like certain things that happened every day, kind of like what I did in 2025. And then for the monthlies, I think I'm not going to really set these up in advance because I'm going to use them the same way I did in 2025, which here, let's just look at a few. That's too far. So I am using them for like just fun memory keeping with like stickers and stuff and pictures and image a day. So I'm going to set them up as part of my monthly plan with me. Here's kind of how I'm using the annual ones here, or these trends. So I have a photo from the month, and then I have kind of a highlight of what happened. I need to update this because it's currently November and I'm very behind, but this is what I'm going to do again in here. And then I have for each month, when you get to it, let's get to January. So there is a half a page at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, there is a full page, blank page. So what I'm gonna do is actually make so last year I did my vision board because the cousin has like a landing page like this. They don't have the full spread. I'm gonna do my vision board on the full 2-page spread. I feel like I like the extra space. I think it will challenge me a bit more. I'll be able to add more into it. It's gonna be fun, but I don't love that it's at the end of the month, but that's okay. I'm gonna put it there and work towards it. And then on here, I'm gonna use this for monthly goals. And I'm going to maybe either, it might be like in letter form or list form, but I'm gonna just kind of do a focus of what I wanna work on during the month. I've selected a one little word, which is grace, which is why I put this on the front. And I think I'm gonna probably try to weave that into my goals and my vision boards each month. And then of course my daily journaling. So as far as setting this up, I think I did put a pen test page here in the back, and there are some blank pages in the back. I don't have, so we have December here. This is my December vision board. Then we've got just a handful of blank pages. I don't necessarily have a plan for these at the moment. I might use them for like overflow journaling or something, but I might end up putting collections, we'll see. I'm just going to, so for setting up now, I don't think I'm gonna put any collections or anything. I'm gonna set these up, and then I'm going to put some tabs. So I purchased both of these grids. I wasn't sure. I think I'm gonna use these, and I'm gonna put these just on the daily pages, and then I'm gonna set these up right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that with some music and voiceover for you guys, and then, you know, we'll move back to something else. Okay, so this one is, I think, pretty much all set up until I'm ready to do my January plan with me. So I'm just gonna flip through quickly and show you guys what I did. So I set up the cover, and then, so I am going to actually do my vision board and goals. So actually, I guess that is before my January plan with me, but I'm gonna share a separate video setting up my annual vision board and goals for the year, which are gonna go on these two spreads up front. Then I set up these annual trackers. I just use stickers from Sterling Ink, which I showed you guys before I set them up. And then we get into the monthlies. I don't think I'm going to do anything to set up these monthlies at this point in time. I think I'm going to do them at the time, because I do think I want to put the weeks across here, and I have some thin stickers for that, but I'm not gonna do anything yet because I'm gonna just kind of play with it in the month and might do a kind of a setup as part of my monthly plan with me. What I did do though is there are 14 monthly spreads. So the first 12 are going to be the 12 months of the year. And then I did make this fountain pen swatch page of my fountain pen inks. It was also a good way to kind of try out this paper. I found that these did not work the same as in the Hobonichi. It's a little drier. So this is my 2025 Hobonichi Cousin Avec, and I swatched all of my inks in here, and I did, some of them are a little too thick because I was just new to swatching, but they're more like paint-like. If you look at them on here, it's more like dry, and I think that that's the paper is a little bit different. but I still love how this came out. I shifted stuff around a little bit to have some room to grow throughout the year. And I love that this is an undated planner, unlike this one where I used, it's got a month set up. This is just a nice blank grid. And I was able to add some stamping and a sticker from the Coffee Monster Co. And I just love this. I think this is going to be great to add to as I collect more inks throughout the year. It's also a great page to kind of flip to when I'm trying to decide what inks to ink up my current pens with. I do have an extra spread here. And so going back to my my 2025 one, let's see, where is it? I have had an extra spread in here as well. And I use this to swatch all of my fountain pens and kind of write where I got them from and the date I got them. I kind of want to do this again, but I'm not sure if I want to do it in here yet or if I want to create a separate book, because this is going to be only once a year. Or every year I'm going to have to update this, but I don't know. I mean, I will have to do that with my inks as well. But I figured like inks at some point will run out, or I may purge some of them, whereas pens I'm going to have hopefully forever, but I'm not sure yet. So I didn't set that up. I added the tabs, and then there's my January, and I don't really have anything else to set up in here. The last thing I want to point out though is after December, we've got the room for the December vision board. And then there's I think there's 25 pages back here that are just blank grid. And if this was a planner, I could use these for annual trackers and things. But because this is my journal, the only thing I've done back here is a pen test page. So I have all these extra pages, and I kind of want to challenge myself to use these during the year for some longer form journaling, or maybe some prompts, maybe some specific collections. I'm not sure yet exactly what, but I do want to add some journaling back here as well. But that is a look at my daily journal. Okay, so next I want to talk about my functional planner. So I have two. I have an everyday carry and a functional planner, and these kind of work together because I need one that has everything in here, my specific trackers, and my calendar, my plans, my daily task list. And that's this one. This is the Take a Note, and this lives on my desk. And this is the one I was waiting for, so it just arrived. And so I have done absolutely nothing in here right now. The second one is my everyday carry, which is basically a smaller version that I carry around with me. And this is from Soft Paper Studios. It's the Compact Weekly Diary, and this is kind of set up like a Hobonichi Weeks, but a cleaner look. So there's no quotes, it's more of a white paper, and it's an undated. So I filmed a little bit of me setting up, because I did this one already. You can see I did some setup. So I am going to kind of talk through what I have going on in here over setting up the stickers and doing that setup. Then I will dive into my Take a Note. So today I'm going to work on setting up my everyday carry, which is this small, it's called the Weekly Diary from Soft Paper Studios. And it's kind of like the Hobonichi Weeks. I was in a Hobonichi Weeks here in 2025. So you can see they're kind of the same size. This one's a slightly thicker. I wanted to move away from the Hobonichi Weeks for a few reasons. Let me just flip to a blank spread here. So I hate the yellow paper. And I don't like the quotes at the bottom. And so I'm kind of just getting over this, like the Hobonichi style. And I wanted something different. And then the paper in this one wasn't great. I had some issues with bleed in certain fountain pens. Some of them worked, others didn't. It was okay because this is kind of my messy, go with me planner. But for this next year, now I have this planner where this is what the weekly looks like. So it is bright white. There's a lot more space. This is undated because it is a small shop. Her planners are undated. But so far I'm loving it. My biggest complaint is it does not lay flat. And that is a huge bummer for me, but I think I can make it work. I've already started setting up my monthlies. I've been filming part of that process. So you'll see that a little bit. Because it's undated, I have to add in all of the stickers. I'm not going to film that entire process, but I will film part of it. And then in my monthly plan with me's, I will add in like the Coffee Monster Co decoration and a few more like details. Right now I want to do the cover and I want to add some tabs. So let me just add this guy on here. I have this 2026 from the Coffee Monster Co. I'm just gonna stick that right there. I think I'm gonna put a few more things, but I'm starting with that. And then these are the Hobonichi Colors tabs. And I don't know why I bought the Hobonichi color tabs. Oh no, these are the Coffee Monster Co. color tabs. So they match the kits. And I'm gonna use these in my Take a Note because I am using the Coffee Monster Co. kits in there. And in here, what I'm actually gonna do is just do the tabs for the sections. So I'm gonna put the monthly, and I'm gonna do them at the bottom, I think, so they're like the least in the way. So I'm just gonna kind of fold this over. So when I grab that one, it will take me to January. So not the current month always, but the first month. And then we're gonna go to the weeklies. So there's one extra monthly. So let's go here to the weeklies. And I just want to see the line, it lined up. There we go. And then I just want one more. I'm going to use this little pencil one for the note pages because just like the Hobonichi Weeks, this has note pages. So my one other complaint I think about this one is there are not page numbers. And I found that is also going to be an issue in the craft planner I purchased. I did not realize it didn't have page numbers, but I'm gonna make it work. And that was not done well. So let's see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay, so I have my tabs. And that way I can get to the notes pages. I will probably set up a few collections in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to do those now or if some of those will be done during the year. I don't have a ton that I need in here. This is just my like carry with me planner. So my main goals with this one are to have my future plans in here. So if I need to, you know, like make a dentist appointment, I can open this up and see kind of where I have time because I will always have it with me. The weeklies are more kind of messy, just this is what is going on. I did put some stickers in for the first week. I haven't done the rest of them. I think what I'm going to end up doing is putting that and putting the numbers in. I'm a little annoyed with myself. I started with January because there is that extra monthly here and I should have just started with December 2025. But that's okay. And I guess I could like put December 2025 here, but I don't know. I think I can live with just being in the weeks for another month. And then I can start this one in January. And like I said, for this, my weekly pages are kind of messy. Let's see if I can find one I can show you. So here, basically what I'm doing is I just keep like random notes in here. Sometimes I have it's a lot more blank. Sometimes I don't use it at all. Well, I was traveling there. So I just had a few things there. Here was a busier week. Here's one that's not as busy or some stuff's blank, but like, so you can see kind of I do a little bit. Sometimes I decorate, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have some like random notes in here. I tend to keep track on this left-hand side of what I did each day. And I'm thinking I'm gonna try to make it a little cuter this time just because when it's cute, I have fun and I enjoy using it. But I think it's mostly just gonna be kind of whatever notes I need. I plan on using pretty much just like ballpoint pens or gel pens in here, not my fountain pens. If I'm really into a fountain pen, I might use it on like my weekly pages, but for collections and my monthlies, I wanna just use like a black gel pen so that there's not all these different colors depending on whatever pen I was using at the time. And then for the notes, I'm not really sure, like I said, what collections I'm gonna do. I probably will make an index here so that I have like a reference of what collections, but we'll see. I'm gonna, I guess, put you guys on voiceover and decorate the cover and maybe do a little bit more. Again, I filmed some of those other segments and I will film other ones, so you'll see part of that in this video as well.
Okay, so I'm going to put this on super fast forward, but essentially what I did in this planner to set up is set up all of my monthlies in advance. So like I said, this is my everyday carry. So this is my functional planner or calendar that I have with me. So if I am at the dentist's office and I need to schedule an appointment for 6 months from now, I can flip to that month and know exactly what I have going on, what is scheduled. So my plan for this is to not only put in the name of the month and the days of the week and the numbers, which I'm doing right now with these stickers from Sterling Ink. But I'm also going to fill in appointments and basic things such as my work schedule or holidays from work or travel I have upcoming. And I plan to do that for the full year so that I am able to kind of see at a glance what I have scheduled in any month. As new things get on the calendar, I will add them in. As things get moved or canceled, I will have to move them. And this is going to be a little bit different than how I would do it in my take a note, which is going to be where I do just the next month in my monthly plan with me, because that one is going to be as I'm looking at the month and filling in my time and focusing on my days, like where is my time going to go? This is more the whole year at a glance. So that is why, like, some people ask, why do you need two planners? And I look at them differently. The take a note, I do plan so much more in there because that is where I can look at it and say, oh, okay, I have a few hours on a Saturday that I can devote to crafting, or this day I have some extra time, I can use that to clean the bathrooms. Whereas this one is like, do I have a doctor's appointment? Do I have a meeting? Those scheduled things that get scheduled way in advance, such as travel and everything like that. So that's why I have the two different ones. You can see that I am setting up the monthlies here with the numbers, and I'm just using tweezers because these stickers are super tiny from Sterling Ink, but they are really cute and thin, and it makes it look just as good as if I had gotten a pre-printed one. The stamp that I used to do the titles of the month was from the Coffee Monster Co. as well. So now I'm going to work on this cover. And I'm not going to finish the entire cover in this video because I ended up going back and forth between some of my other ones and I didn't film it. But what I ended up doing is you'll see the finished one, or I think you already saw it earlier in this video. I hope that's not super confusing having things out of order, but I had to film them that way because my take a note came so late and I really wanted to start setting these things up. This is my on-the-go planner, so when I'm picking stickers to go on the top of them, I'm thinking of ones that kind of fit that theme. So I'm looking through what I have in my little trays here. These are my loose embellishment trays. I keep scrapbook embellishments in here. I keep stickers. I keep die cuts, anything that fits these themes. And I kind of showed you some of the themes on the boxes. I do have a video sharing how I've organized that, so I will link that in the description box below. But essentially, I'm just going through them to pull stickers that I might want to put on my planner here. Some of the ones I pulled were a little too big, so they're not going to fit, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that one back. But what I ended up picking, I really wanted that one that says physically here, mentally at home with my cat, because like I said, this is my on-the-go planner. And I wanted that one of journals, which I don't remember where I got any of these. And the one of the cat scrolling, I just liked the look of that. I do end up adding another stamp one on here at some point. I'm not sure if it is in this video clip. Actually, I think it is. It's going to say More Hope, and it's a rainbow from Brandy Kincaid. I really liked the idea of having the two stamps, or like, I guess they're like postage stamps on the bottom portion there. And then I tried a few different things because this is a small planner. It was hard to find stuff that fit perfectly, but I'm super happy with how it came out. As I lay them out, and then I'm just going to go ahead and start sticking things down. Like I said, I'm not going to get everything stuck down in this video, but pretty close. And also, this stack on my desk here, these are just my extra stickers. So these are the ones that didn't fit in any of my categories of die cuts. So those die cut, or like the plastic trays there that you see on the side of the screen, those are the ones that I use for my die cuts. But I do have some stickers that are in a separate bin that just aren't sorted. And they're ones that I pretty much only use for stuff like this, which is like once a year. Again, those divided, the little plastic bin, I do have those in a separate video, and those are from Stamp and Storage if you're interested in getting something similar. Okay, so now back to setting up the calendar. You can see my sleeves changing as I do this on different days. I'm not going to film and voice over the entire setup. I just wanted to do a couple of the months so you could kind of see what I was going through and, what the process was. It was definitely pretty time consuming to do this. I did quite a few of them while watching TV. I think I did some on a Zoom call with some friends. I had planned to do it when I had some craft friends come over, but I never actually got to it. But it's just kind of time consuming. Off camera, I have my Apple Calendar pulled up just so I make sure that I get the numbers on the correct days of the week. I like that this is not a pre-dated planner, so I can do a Monday start because that is what I like. And I guess a lot of the planners do come Monday start because they are Asian, from Asian brands, and they do a Monday start. But in the United States, most people do a Sunday start, which just is not for me because I feel like the week starts on Monday. So that's kind of part of what I'm doing here. I also am going to use some highlighters to identify certain things that go for more than one day. So you can see I did that. I showed you January there, and then here's February, and I'm going to add a few stickers in. So what I do, what my planning system is you can see I have gray stripes on the bottom of some of the squares. The bottom row is always my work schedule. So I have a full-time job. I'm an attorney, and so I generally work Monday through Friday, but I do have every other Friday off. So I have designated those in my planner here the past days. I also have some holidays, and then here I have some time off because I'm traveling. On that second row up, I used a colored mild liner that is going to coordinate with the kits from the Coffee Monster Co. Hey, Pumpkin. And that is going to show where I'm traveling. So in February, you can see here I'm traveling for pretty much most of the month. And so I have that there. I added some little stickers from the Coffee Monster Co. as well. And now I'm moving on to setting up March. Again, I don't need to film this entire process, but you can kind of see how I'm going ahead and doing that. And I'm just going to do the full year. At this point, honestly, I don't have much scheduled beyond March. But I do have some work trips, I have some personal vacations, and then of course work holidays and those types of things, which I have the full calendar in advance to know what days I work.
Okay, before I go any further with my setup, I want to talk about the Coffee Monster Co. stickers. So I absolutely love the Coffee Monster Co. I am not someone who's super sticker heavy in my planning, but I just love her aesthetic. I love her style, and they're just so adorable. So I just couldn't help myself from purchasing quite a bit from her shop this year. And she did only have the first 6 months out already. So I'm just gonna walk you through a little bit what I picked up and kind of how I'm gonna use it, and then kind of work it into my setup. So I picked the monthly cousin kits, and I'm gonna use these in my take a note to set up my monthlies, but I'm gonna do that as part of my monthly plan with me. So you're not gonna see that in this video. And I also got the washi strips to go along with those, and I use those in those spreads as well. I got quite a few of the little icons, and these are just going to be in kind of my like functional planning or my daily pages, not really anything I need to use in my setup. I got the monthly, well, these are like all the icons, again, just fun, cute icons I wanted. These are in one of the journals I haven't set up yet, so I will get back to those, and same with these. But then these ones I'm going to use in this planner here. And I started setting up, like I said, this one I'm going to set up in advance. I'm kind of toying with the idea of setting them up with the stickers in advance as well, because I just kind of want this to be done and functional. So I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of that in this video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the whole year right now. I might just do that kind of as I feel like it, but I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and set up January and get it totally how I want it, and I will go from there.
Okay, so you saw me transition to my Take a Note, which, like I said earlier, is my other functional planner. This is the one that I use for basically all the tracking and everything. This one stays on my desk at home. And you saw that I basically started with sticker bombing the cover. I absolutely love this planner. If you are not familiar with it, the Take a Note is a planner from a Taiwanese company called Take a Note, and they don't have a lot of different variations, but this is their A5 version, and I just absolutely love it. So I used this same planner in 2025, and I loved it so much. I did struggle a little bit in the beginning of the year to figure out my exact flow in this, but I figured it out by the end, I think by the end of the first quarter, and so now I'm just going to use it exactly the same. You can see there I had my 2025 one off camera, or I pulled it on the screen a little bit because I'm using that as a reference in setting up this planner. So after the cover, I flipped it open pretty quickly. It has this tracker, and I think this is called a Gantt tracker, but essentially it gives you a place to track two things. And I use this to track exercise. The top column I use to track my step count, and then the bottom column I use to track some additional activities such as Pilates, yoga, that type of thing. And so I'm going to do the exact same thing this year, but I decided to stamp out the title using this stamp from the Coffee Monster Co. And then I added a cute little stamp there on the February. And now I'm going to write in my key and pick my colors, and I'm going to set it up exactly like I did last year. The only thing that's a little bit different is I'm switching up my colors because I want it to be based on specific colors that I use more frequently and just a little bit easier to read. But beyond that, it's exactly the same as in last year. Okay, so the next page in the Taken Note is very similar to the one in the Hobonichi Cousin, and a lot of people use this as a tracker. I think it's a little bit different in this one because you don't have the space on the top to write out what is being tracked in each column, but I'm going to use this pretty much the same as I used last year, which means that this is for my annual ongoing tracking of cleaning and chores. So these are the things that I don't do regularly that you do maybe once or twice a year. And essentially I'm scheduling these tasks in each month based on when I think I should do them and when I think I will have time, because I generally know my travel schedule for the year. Things might end up getting migrated as the year goes on. I tend to be very optimistic about how much cleaning I will actually do. I like to have a pretty clean house, but I tend to plan for like a perfectly clean house, and that's not always realistic. But I do want to have that plan in here. So basically what I did was I put a bullet point dot for each task on a month, so it's under that month, and then I wrote out the task. If I complete the task in that month, I will write the number on the bullet point of when I did it, so I will know when I last did something. And if I don't do it, then I will migrate it over to whenever I am going to actually get it done. I will also put these on my monthly spreads when I am setting up my months so that I have them for reference, but this is to see that year at a glance. The top portion of this page has a line per day. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm going to do with that. I think I might end up doing some sort of time tracking to give myself like an overview of what days are days at home versus at work or that type of thing. But I'm not sure. What I did in 2025 didn't really end up working for me. So I'll think about it, and I will probably let you guys know once I come up with something in another location, like my January plan with me. Okay, so next I'm moving on to putting on the tabs, and I spread this one up super fast because it's pretty tedious, but I did film the process of me adding the tabs. So these are again from the Coffee Monster Co. And I did say earlier in this video that I bought the colorful ones to put in here because they match the monthly kits. And then I was looking at them and I kind of forgot why I bought those. And I ended up using these gray ones that I also purchased, which are the exact same ones that I used in 2025. So I do have an extra set of tabs. I might end up using them in something else. And if I don't, that's okay. I can always use them in a future year because they don't have the year listed. Now that I did the tabs, the next thing I need to do is set up a few trackers in the very back of the planner. So I would say this is my biggest complaint of the Taken Note. It doesn't have some blank journaling pages in the back or any like blank spreads for your own trackers or anything. It has two spreads. That's it. So I'm doing essentially what I did the same last year and making it work and kind of condensing what I need down to two spreads. So this one is my long-term tracking. So these are kind of a when did I do this last. A lot of them are cleaning tasks. Some of them are less like cleaning, sort of such as like changing my contacts, that type of thing. And so what I'm going to do is just create a chart on here. I stamped out long-term tracking, and that stamp set that I've been using is from the Coffee Monster Co. I absolutely love it. And you'll see in my craft planner, I started setting it up before I got that stamp set, and I'm kind of disappointed. I wish I had it for all of my planners, but it is what it is. And I added that washi tape along there that was kind of, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like people running errands from the Coffee Monster Co. So I thought that that would work really well. But I'm creating these columns that are 5 squares wide, and essentially there's 5 squares per column for 12 columns, so one for each month. And this is going to be where I write down when did I last do something. I am notoriously bad at keeping up with this tracker, but I want to try to do it, and I'm going to try to do it more next year and be better about it. But we'll see. We'll see how great I am with it. For the titles of the months, I'm using more stickers from Sterling Ink. I did purchase just like a pack of their planner stickers. So some of them work, some of them don't. I wish I had more of some and not other ones, but I decided to do that rather than purchase individual sticker sheets because I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to need, and it ended up working out pretty well. Then in the left-hand column, I'm writing out all of the tasks that I'm going to track here, and I'm basically copying this off of what I did last year or in 2025 and adding a few or moving some as makes sense. The tracking, you can see my list doesn't go all the way to the bottom. That's because I'm leaving space in case I need to add anything else. And if I don't, then that's fine, but there is that space there in case I need to add something. And just this last spread is going to be my financial and passwords. Obviously, I'm not going to set most of that up with you guys because it is private. It just has all of my information for logging in to pay all of my bills and that type of thing. So I will add that later. But at the top, I stamped financial and added a kind of money washi tape. And then I'm adding a tracker for all of my bills that I pay and my paydays. And using that, I've done the same tracker for probably like 10 years now in all of my different planners. And it works really well for me just to kind of check off when I pay something and I write in the date that I paid it. I write in the date that it's due and then I highlight it when it's paid. So hopefully that makes sense. Of course, I'm not going to update this one with you guys or share it again, but this way you can kind of see the initial setup.
Okay, so you guys just saw the setup of my 3 main journals and planners. These are the 3 that I will touch pretty much every day, and that's it, just these 3. So I do have 5 other journals in my lineup, but they are ones that I don't use every day. And I'm just going to do a quick overview of them because this video is getting super long and I don't want you guys to be stuck here forever. I want this to be a watchable video, but just quickly coming back to my original plan, I wrote the other at the bottom. The first one, the biggest one, is my craft planner. So I'm going to do that one first. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So for my craft planner, I actually am going to share a separate video in a week or two setting this one up, partially because this video is too long, and also because I know some people care more about this one or less about this one. So it's good to have, I just wanted a video with just this so I can reference it in the future when people ask about it. But I'm just going to give you a quick flip through of how I'm going to use this, and then stay tuned for that video. So I did set up the cover in that video. I just did a couple simple stickers on this one. This is a freely planned A5 notebook from Planner Monkey Co. I was searching all over the place for a planner that fit my needs for this, and I didn't find one. I ended up ordering this one, and I have to say I'm a little disappointed. It's not what I was hoping for. Part of that was a miscommunication with the listing, and then when it came, there were just some things I didn't think about. So I'm just going to talk through it. I'm going to make it work. It's not a bad planner. It's just not exactly what I'm looking for. So the first thing that I just want to open to a random page. So it is Tomoe River paper, which is great. And it's gridded, which I love. And it's pretty white, which I also love. But the big negative for me is there are no page numbers, which I hate. So I am actually writing in my own page numbers with a 0.38 Energel Plena, and that's going to take forever. I'm not going to do the whole thing right now. I'm going to kind of do them as I go, but that's annoying. So what I essentially wanted was monthly spreads and blank pages. And I just couldn't find anything out there that was like that besides what I've been using the last 2 years, which is the Hobonichi Day Free, which again has monthly spreads and then just blank blank pages, which I fill with all sorts of notes and things throughout the year. So this one I thought was that. It is not that, but that's okay. So it starts with a blank spread, and I'm going to set up my craft goals for the year in that other video. Then it has an index, which I love, except an index without page numbers doesn't make a ton of sense. These, by the way, are sticky notes that I put in here to kind of tell myself what I'm going to set up, but they are not sticky. They are like, what's that called? Staticky. My friend from, she's All the Nice Things Stories Matter on Instagram, recommended these to me, and they are great because you can use them to cover like photos and stuff on YouTube for privacy without leaving a sticky residue. So I use them now. Okay, so then, oh, and I'll link those in the description box if you're interested. They have these vertical trackers that are the same as what you see in a like the Hobonichi Cousin and everything. So I decided to use this to kind of plan out my YouTube in advance. So this is just kind of the videos I want to share. You can get a sneak peek of what I'm hoping to share in the upcoming months. As it gets further into the year, I only have a couple of things that I have planned so far, and I will add to that obviously as I get there, but that just keeps me kind of organized in terms of what videos do I have space for in my schedule. Then we flip to the monthly, and for the monthly, you have 2 spreads per month. There's this habit tracker, which I don't know yet how I'm going to use that. And then the monthly calendar spread, which I am using stickers from the Coffee Monster Co. to set up because these are undated. And I'm using the stamp from the Coffee Monster Co. to do the title. And I will probably just set these up as part of my monthly plan with me. I just did January to see how I like it, but I'm going to use these essentially the same as I've used this last year to track my content, so my Instagram and my YouTube. Then this has weekly spreads. This is the part I didn't really want. I added tabs on here. I think I'm going to use this though for my random notes during the week for like what projects I need to do, what I need to photograph, what needs to be edited, because I am notoriously bad at making a bunch of projects and then forgetting to take like the right photos and then having to go back and take photos. So I'm hoping that this will help with that. And then I have this little tab here to take you past that. And then I set up some spreads. So I have references, ideas for future videos, my tracking of my Instagram, my YouTube, my project life trackers. Again, I'm going to talk about this in more detail when I do that separate video. And then I have older planned projects. So I spent some time migrating all of my planned layouts into here and organizing them no longer by kit, but instead by what album they're going to go in. So for example, this is 2023 part 2, my mini me, which is unfortunately not done. So these are all of the spreads I have planned to go in there that are not yet completed, and it will tell me kind of what kit it is. And I have those products still in a Ziploc bag, so I can go back and work on it. But this way I'm not having to flip back through older planners or notebooks where I had planned with these kits to find these projects. They're all in one place. So I'm just gonna flip through that quickly. A lot of these are paid content in various Story Kit classrooms, so I'm not gonna share in too much detail, but these are just the ones I have left. And I think this is gonna help keep me a little bit more organized and try to get more of these done in 2026. Then I have my next blank spread, which is going to be kind of, I just do my monthly trackers in here. I do any craft planning, anything related to scrapbooking or other projects. So again, there'll be more about that in a separate video. Okay, so back to this. We've got 3 other journals, and these are all ongoing projects. So the first one is my Traveler's Notebook. This is my Commonplace book. I have a few different videos available sharing how I commonplace, but this volume here is starting in 2024. I had done some Commonplace books before this one, and I was never very consistent with it, or I didn't like my setup. So this is kind of my new system. I've been doing it since 2024. I don't think I started in the beginning of the year. I think it was the middle of the year. I don't date it, my entries, but essentially these are just quotes, random notes, things that I want to remember. I sometimes print things and I color code them with dots, and I have this key up front. I tend to update this like once a month or so. Sometimes it kind of falls by the wayside for a little bit longer than that though, but these are just, you can see I print things off the internet, all sorts of things in here, and it's just very simple and a good reference place for me. And I also like it just as a place to like practice my handwriting. And I tend to write with a gel pen in here just to keep it consistent, because with fountain pens, I switch it up quite a bit. But yeah, I'm just gonna probably stamp 2026 on here and keep going, but I will share separate videos on this one, just like I have in the past. Next is my house journal. And this is a Hobonichi 5-year, 2023 through 2027. And I'm using this in a different way than the actual 5-year journal, which is, I've never seen someone else do this, but this just kind of hit me a while ago. So I do need to share a separate video about this, but I'm just going to quickly share a little bit of information because I don't know when I'm going to get to do that. But essentially, this is a journal all about my house. So I'm a homeowner. I built my house in 2020, actually started in 2019, and I moved in 2020. And so I didn't start this till 2023 because it just didn't occur to me. But there's so many things you need to track and pay attention to as a homeowner. And I was struggling with that. And I thought, this is silly. I am a journaler. I love tracking. Why am I struggling to track this thing that is actually super important? And so I realized I needed to put it into a journal so that it would work with my brain and what I actually enjoy doing. So essentially what this is a record of everything having to do with the house. So I'm just going to flip to a couple pages. So here I recorded in 2023 record of the tulips and stuff that I planted and kind of like the winterizing stuff I was doing in my yard at that point in time. And then so this is just kind of what I did in each year. And then on this side, sometimes I will put some extra information. So here I put some notes of planting tulips, and I added the packaging from the tree wrap that I purchased because that way I could know what brand it was. And that was a good kind of reference. In 2024, we switched the dehumidifier off. So I just wanted to keep, so if that was like the end of the air conditioning for the year. 2025, nothing happened on October 6th. Let's find another day. So here is a day. Nothing happened in 23 or 24, but on 25, we hung some new art in the entryway, and we I've added some notes about it, and then we got a new poof in the reading room and deemed the reading room done. So I printed a couple photos of the house and I stamped here 2025, so you know that that's when those photos were taken. I don't mind filling this up. If, for example, it's 2027 and I come in and this page is full and I want to put photos, that's okay. I'll just put it on like the next day. So like here you can see there's like nothing. And there are days like this where literally nothing happened because you're not doing homeowner stuff every single day. But there are certain things and notes in here. Some of the stuff is private, I don't want to share, but like tax information, that kind of stuff. But I have here, like here's a lot of the home improvement stuff. So on April or March 1st, we didn't do anything on the 23rd or 2023 or 2024, but on 2025, we purchased some paint to paint our bedroom walls. And so I put the swatch in here. And then we purchased 2 chairs. And so I'm putting like the prices of what we paid for things, where we bought them. And then here's a picture of the chair that we purchased. So just adding some stuff in here like that. I like, let's see, here's another one. This was a good kind of, we had multiple things, but this was also the day that I decided to put pictures of our finished laundry room, which was actually completed on this day, but I had some notes here. So I just put the photos over here, totally fine. And that is kind of just how I'm using this. And then in the very back, I wanted to try to create an index, but I didn't really keep up with it. But I did create, like here, I have a list of all of the paint colors in the house. And then I put the dates of the page where you can find the paint samples. So if I want that. And so I do have a few kind of things, like I have tax info. You can see what dates those are on. But otherwise, I didn't really use the back. I hope to maybe in the future get better at that. The other thing is this is a great use of this, but I don't intend to sell my house in 2027. So I'm thinking rather than starting a new one in 2028, I might just go back and reuse this one. And in 2028, I'll just like draw a line through 2023 and fit 2028 there. And like you can see, there's a lot of pages where we didn't do something in every day. So I can always just find space and just date it. So that's my home journal. Then I have a blank notebook. This is an A5 from Sterling Ink. And I decided to just start this one in 2025. So I put that there. I'm going to put a 2026 on here. I don't have an extra sticker right now. So either I'll collect one or I'll just draw it or something. And then I do have a reference index and dated notes because I add notes in here each month. And then I have reading notes for certain books. And this does have numbered pages, which I love. And essentially what I do is this is just random notes. Sometimes I have like a collection in here that I have reading notes. I try to make some of them cute, but it's really more messy. Just like random things, everything I need notes. Some of these you can see are edits notes for like YouTube videos and stuff and editing content. I think I'm going to start putting that in my craft planner. So this will be more just like actual content. I have some of the things in here are private, but essentially, so I don't want to flip through like a ton of things, but like a lot of like the Book of Alchemy, I'm working through that. Yeah, just a few different things in here. And essentially what I do at the beginning of each one, you can see there's like messy notes and stuff. Okay, here's the one I can share. At the beginning of a month, I will add a little sticker at the top to designate the month, and then I do put in that index. So again, I bought the monthly stickers from the Coffee Monster Co., and I'm going to use these for the months for 2026. You can see I did ones from 2025. I started this one in like September of 2025. I intend this one will probably take me a few years to fill up, and that's totally fine. I don't know if I'm going to decorate the cover because it is kind of like a textured cover and like a soft cover one, and I'm not sure if stickers will last on here, but if I do, I'm thinking I'm going to do it just kind of as I go, as needed, rather than kind of setting it up, because it's just kind of a messy whatever journal. So that was the end of my initial lineup. I added one more thing. So I originally had said I wasn't going to have anything from Hobonichi in my lineup besides my house journal, which is ongoing. So I wasn't going to buy anything new. and I changed my mind because this is the 5-year journal. Again, I bought another one, but this one is not for a house journal. This is going to be my actual 5-year journal. So I did do a 5-year journal in the past, but I did it in an Archer and Olive notebook. And while I loved the concept, I got totally over that type of paper, the thick paper. And so I kind of like dreaded updating it. So I only stuck with it for 3 years, which is frustrating to bail on it when I had so much in it, but letting it go just felt so good. But now I'm missing it, and I think I will have the space to do it. So this is going to be one more that I'm going to try to update every day. I didn't want to get the Hobonichi one, but I didn't find any other brand that did what I wanted, which had the 5 years on this side and the blank page. I love the blank page. I'm not entirely sure yet what I'm going to do with it, but essentially I'm going to just add some journaling in here every day. I have some initial ideas, but I will probably share a look at this in a video, maybe like a quarter into the year or something, so you can kind of see how it's coming along. And I do intend to share a bit more about it on Instagram. The other thing is I'm not going to do anything with it today, but I'm thinking about covering it because I have this one for my house journal and they look the same, and I don't want them to look the same. I want, like, it is a pretty journal, but it's not my style. So I'm thinking I might cover it with fabric or something. I'm not sure yet. The other thing is I really wanted to start it in 26 because I like that the years are even. And in 2026, I am turning 40. So this is going to be like the first 5 years of my 40s, which I think will be super fun. Okay, so that is a look at my 2026 journal and planner lineup. I hope that you guys got a lot of ideas from this video and that it helped give you some direction on where you want to go with your 2026 lineup. So let me know in the comments if you are using some of the similar journals I'm using or what else you're using and what you thought of my video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I look forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Bye.